Mahoday, Professor Porimal Chandra Bhattacharya, President Organizing Committee, Professor Noni Gopal Mohanto Mahoday, Honorable Education Advisor, Government of Assam, and Professor Jugesh Kakoti, Registrar of the University. অসম সংগীতৰ বাবে সকলোকে থিয় হ'বলৈ মই অনুৰোধ জনাইছো। Pragjyotishpur University, established a year back, echoes the muse of the famous saying from the Gita, Tasya Pragya Pratisthita, invoking the essence of true knowledge by creating steady, firm, compassionate, brave, patriotic, and dedicated human beings through the process of inculcating the sense of Shraddha, Anusasana, Satyarvechana, Dhairya, Aikya, and Karuna. Namaskar. On behalf of Pragjyotishpur University, I, Pragya Paramita, extend a warm welcome to our respected dignitaries on the dais, respected vice-chancellors of the universities, principals of colleges, Pradhan Acharya of the schools, professors, teachers, prominent personalities from the different sectors, students of universities, colleges, and schools, to the grand felicitation ceremony of the Honorable Chairman ISRO, Dr. Sridhar Panikkar Somnath Mahoday, and to celebrate the historic landing of Chandrayaan 3. ISROৰ সন্মানীয় অধ্যক্ষ মহোদয়ৰ লগতে তেখেতৰ সহযোগী বিজ্ঞানীসকলৰ মহৎ অৱদান আৰু উল্লেখনীয় সফলতাৰ বিজয় উৎসৱ উদযাপন তথা উপস্থিত ছাত্ৰ-ছাত্ৰীসকলৰ লগত তেখেতৰ বাৰ্তালাপৰ বিশেষ সুযোগ প্ৰদান কৰোৱাটোৱে হৈছে আমাৰ আজিৰ সভাৰ মূল উদ্দেশ্য। I now humbly request all our respected dignitaries on the dais to kindly light the ceremonial lamp and mark the beginning of this auspicious occasion. এগছিকৈ বন্তি প্ৰজ্বলন কৰি আজিৰ অনুষ্ঠানৰ শুভাৰম্ভণি কৰিবলৈ মই মঞ্চত আসন সলনি কৰা আটাইকেইগৰাকী সন্মানীয় অতিথিক অনুৰোধ জনাইছোঁ। লগতে বিদ্যাৰ অধিষ্ঠাত্ৰী দেৱী সৰস্বতী শ্ৰীচৰণত আৰু আজি শিল্পী দিৱস উপলক্ষে ৰূপকোঁৱৰ জ্যোতিপ্ৰসাদ আগৰৱালাৰ প্ৰতিচ্ছবিত পুষ্পাঞ্জলি অৰ্পণ কৰিবলৈ মই অনুৰোধ জনাইছোঁ।
आत्मज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते।
Every year, Hilvi Dibok is being celebrated all over Assam to mark the death anniversary of the cultural icon, freedom fighter, and pioneer of Assamese cinema, Roop Kaur Jyoti Prasad Agarwala, on this day, the 17th of January. And our dignitaries are offering their respect. I'd request our dignitaries to kindly take their seats. We now proceed for the felicitation of our dignitaries. এতিয়া আমি আমাৰ সন্মানীয় অতিথিসকলৰ সম্বৰ্ধনা জ্ঞাপন কৰিবলৈ লৈছোঁ. We are elated and honored to have amidst us today the Honorable Chairman ISRO, Dr. Sridhar Panikkar Somnath Mahoday. I now request the Honorable Chancellor of Pragjyotishpur University, Professor Pradeep Kumar Joshi Mahoday, to kindly welcome our guest with a gamusa. I now request the Honorable Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Smriti Kumar Sinha Mahoday, to kindly present the sealing. I now request Professor Sudeshna Bhattacharya, Secretary, Honkadev Education and Research Foundation, to kindly present the JAPI. A horai will now be presented by Professor Purimon Chandra Bhattacharya, President, Organizing Committee. A memento will now be presented by Professor Jugesh Kakoti, Registrar of the University. Now, the replica of the Pride of Assam, one-horned rhino, will be presented by the Working President of the Organizing Committee, Dr. Humeshwar Kolita Mahoday. I now request Murchana Buzarbora, a student, to present the cup. The newsletter and brochure of the university. Dhainaban. Now, I'd request Professor Jugesh Kakoti, the Registrar of the University, to kindly read out the citation.
Citation letter. Respected Dr. Sridhar Panikkar Somnathji, on behalf of Pragjyotishpur University, we extend our warmest congratulations to you and your team on the success of the Chandrayaan-3 mission. Your exemplary dedication and significant contributions to the field of space exploration have paved the way for India's advancements in science and technology. Your leadership has been instrumental in fostering innovation, collaboration, and excellence within the Indian Space Research Organization. Under your guidance, ISRO has consistently achieved remarkable milestones, including successful satellite launches, groundbreaking scientific missions, and the development of cutting-edge technologies. Your commitment to advancing India's space capabilities has not only brought pride to the nation, but also inspired countless individuals to pursue careers in science and technology. Your strategic vision, coupled with your passion for space exploration, will undoubtedly propel ISRO to new heights, making significant contributions to space science and technology on both the national and the international fronts. We express our heartfelt best wishes to you as you embark on the journey ahead in your illustrious career. May this journey be marked by continued success, groundbreaking achievements, and the realization of ambitious goals for the Indian space program. Once more, we congratulate you and your team for the historic success of Chandrayaan-3 and also Aditya L1 mission. The entire nation looks forward to witnessing the continued success and growth of ISRO under your capable leadership. Professor Pradip Kumar Joshi, Chancellor, Professor Smriti Kumar Sinha, Vice Chancellor, Professor Jugesh Kakoti, Professor and Registrar, Pragjyotispur University.
Here, the Honorable Chancellor of the University is presenting the citation to our chief guest, Honorable Chairman ISRO, Dr. S. Somnath Mahodaya. We would now welcome the Honorable Chancellor, Pragjyotispur University, Professor Dr. Pradip Kumar Joshi Mahodaya, and we welcome by a Seleng, Gamusa, and a cup by Dr. Sushmita Roy Sodhuri Dekka. Dhanavad. We now welcome the Honorable Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Smriti Kumar Sinha Mahodaya. Dhanavad. We now welcome Professor Parimal Chandra Bhattacharjee Mahodaya, President Organizing Committee. We now welcome Professor Noni Gopal Mahanta, Honorable Advisor Education, Government of Assam. Dhanavad. We now welcome Professor Jugesh Kakoti, Registrar, the University. Dhanavad. Ladies and gentlemen, with the goal of enlightening enthusiastic learners in the line of acquiring experimental knowledge and lateral thinking that will help in generating a self-sustained societal base in and around, Pragjyotispur University has paved its way. Let us now take a look at its glorious journey till now, presenting an audiovisual.
In every corner of Pragjyotispur University reverberates with the true essence of knowledge, that is, Jnana, Pragyan and Satya, the three pillars of learning incorporated within the mandate of the National Education Policy 2020 as part of the rich heritage of the Indian knowledge systems for a wholesome education firmly rooted in an Indian ethos and knowledge systems and in response to the challenges of the present times. Pragjyotispur University has been established to create global knowledge leaders for the holistic development of humanity. The university completed its glorious 1 year of establishment on the 17th of October 2023. Starting its first academic year from September 2023, Pragjyotishpur University introduced 16 disciplines of arts, science and commerce. The university has completed the first semester examination and has started the second semester classes. Pragjyotishpur University is going to introduce postgraduate and PhD programs along with undergraduate programs in all disciplines of the School of Arts, Humanities and Social Sciences, Commerce and Business Management, Natural and Applied Sciences, Language, Literature and Linguistics and Performing Arts. Besides, the university has submitted its application to the Pharmacy Council of India to introduce the B Pharma and D Pharma courses under the School of Pharmacy and is also preparing to apply to the Indian Nursing Council for nursing courses in the same school. We at Pragjyotishpur University are proud of our open environment, sprawling classrooms, dedicated quality facilitators, effective teacher-student ratio, experiential learning, sports complex, performing arts complex, internship programs, industry institution interface, social engagements and more.
এয়া আছিলে প্ৰাগজ্যোতিষপুৰ ইউনিভাৰ্চিটিৰ এতিয়ালৈ হোৱা সোণালী যাত্ৰাৰ এটি শ্ৰব্যদৃশ্য। Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Smriti Kumar Sinha Mahoday assumed the role of the Vice Chancellor of Pragjyotishpur University on 10th May 2023, taking voluntary retirement from the post of Professor of Computer Science, Tezpur University. His areas of research interest are machine translation, computational linguistics, social network analysis, web services, workflow and security. Adding to his achievements, he has won European and 2 United States patents in computer science. May I now invite Professor Smriti Kumar Sinha Mahoday, the Honorable Vice Chancellor of Pragjyotishpur University, to kindly deliver the welcome address.
Mananiya Dr. Sridhara Panikar Somnathji, Honorable Chairman, ISRO, Mananiya Professor Pradeep Kumar Joshiji, Honorable Chancellor, Pragjyotishpur University, Mananiya Professor Parimal Bhattacharya, President of Organizing Committee of today's program and also our governing body member, Mananiya Professor Nani Gopal Mahantoji, Advisor on Education, Govt of Assam, Mananiya Professor Yogesh Kakatiji, Registrar, Tej Pragjyotishpur University. Respectable Vice Chancellors, Directors, Principals, Teachers, Guests, my dear students and their parents present here, and the dedicated, beautiful minds who conceived the idea of establishing a Bharatiya University in this part of the country and have been nurturing, and those attending the program in digital mode at a distance of time and space. I welcome you all on behalf of Pragjyotishpur University to the felicitation program of Dr. Sridhara Panikar Somnathji. Today is Shilpi Divas, the birthday of our beloved poet Rupkumar Jyotiprasad Agarwala. Rupantarar Kavi, the transformative poet, once said, Rupantare he jivan dhuniya kare. Transformations make life beautiful. Pragjyotishpur University's vision is to create transformative knowledge leaders for the holistic development of humanity. A heartfelt homage to the poet whose words have illuminated our hearts and minds, weaving a tapestry of emotions and inspiration. No asat asit, no sat asit tadanim, no asit rajo, no beuma paru yat, kim avariva, kuha kaisya sharmana amba, asit gahanam gaviram. From Rig Veda to Chandrayaan 3 and Aditya L1, the quest of mankind is the same, knowing the secret of creation of the universe. The queries were also the same as in the Nasatya Sukta of Rig Veda I recited just now. Meaning is, there was neither existence nor non-existence, neither matter nor space. What covered it? Where was it? What was its purpose? Who protected it? Who was the master of the cosmic water that was so dense and deep? Gahanam Gaviram. The biggest dream of the mankind over the ages is centered around space. The celestial bodies like the moon, Mars, the sun, etc. The only available vehicle to reach these celestial bodies was creative imagination. Hymns, rhymes, and folktales. A folktale of this region of the Bharat says that the sky was very close to the earth. The children used to frolic and play hide and seek amid stars and enjoy storytelling by sitting on the lap of the tender moon. The old people used to sit around the sun, basking and chatting in winter. One day an angry woman in the village started to husk paddy in a mortar with a tall and heavy pestle. Each time she raised the pestle, it hit the sky hard. The groaning sky began inching away from the earth and finally drifted apart. The angry sky started shouting with his eyes sparkling, that is lightning and thunder. When cooled down, the wailing children below the earth made the sky shed incessant tears, that is rain. That was in the folktale. Now, this big Bharatiya dream of space exploration is translated into reality by the Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, which was established in 1969. ISRO's primary objective is to harness space technology for the national development and to conduct space research and exploration. As a student, I was privileged to welcome and listen to Mananiya Professor Yashpalji and Professor Satish Dhawanji at Guwahati University. As a professor, I was privileged to welcome and listen to Professor Jayanta Vishnu Nadikarji and Dr. APJ Abdul Kalamji at Tezpur University. Today, as the Vice Chancellor of Pragjyotishpur University, I, on behalf of the university and the people of Assam, have the privilege to welcome and listen to Dr. Sridhara Panikar Somnathji, Honorable Chairman of ISRO. The man behind the success of Chandrayaan-3 and Aditya L1, our pride, our Swabhiman. I welcome Dr. Somnathji and all of you once again. Jai Bharat.
Dhanabad Mohoday. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Parimal Chandra Bhattacharya Mohoday was the former professor and head Department of Zoology, Guwahati University. He pioneered many wetland studies, primatology and biodiversity studies across Northeast India, along with wildlife activism. He was also an erstwhile state-level cricket player and was a member of the State Ranji Trophy Selection Committee. May I now humbly request Professor Parimal Chandra Bhattacharya, the President Organizing Committee, to kindly deliver his speech.
Namaskar. Today's guest and we are most privileged to have him here, the chairman of ISRO, Dr. Sridhar Panikar Somnathji, then our Chancellor Pradeep Kumar Joshiji of Pragjyotishpur University, Vice Chancellor of the Pragjyotishpur Mohan Sinha, and Registrar Jogesh Kakotiji, and Sri Monigopal Mohanto, who is the advisor of the Government of Assam Education. I am overwhelmed by looking at the presence of a person whom we always see in the TV. And when I saw him today, I thought that whole ISRO is landed in Assam. And the whole, so much of enthusiasm was there when we were talking to each other. And we feel that it is an impossible thing happening today. And Pragjyotishpur University has the catalyst of doing this work. I feel that we are going to have a very good interactions. And my children here and guardians who are there, who are present here, and those who are interested in future also, please, this will be a memorable day for all of you. Because we have met some of the people which are earlier, which are very important personalities for education purposes, earlier also. But here is a case where we have seen what is happening. We remember the cycle, the tip of some the rockets were carried out by cycle. From there we have gone to east, from the going to sun now. We have seen for the first time what is the sun photograph. We have never imagined this thing will happen in India. And this is the Amrit Kal of India. We are going to be the Vishwa Guru. And these are the indications of not only the world, it is the space also we are going to conquer. So with this, the presence of a very important personalities who represents the idea of India, I am very grateful. We are all grateful that his presence is here. So as the organizing committee president, if there is any loophole here and there, please excuse us, because this is very hurriedly done, view was there. আপোনালোকে যি ইচ্ছা কুৱেশ্যন কৰিব চিষ্টেমেটিকেলি আৰু আপোনালোকে সারা জীৱনৰ কাৰণে এইটো যদি মনত থাকে ভৱিষ্যতে আমাৰ ল'ৰা ছোৱালীৰ ওপৰত বেছ কৰি গোটেই অসমখন ওপৰত উঠিব আপোনালোকে অহাৰ কাৰণে বহুত ধন্যবাদ জনাইছোঁ ইফ দেয়াৰ ইজ এনিথিং লেফ্ট আউট প্লিজ বিয়াৰ উইথ আছ নমস্কাৰ
Dhanabad Mohoday. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Pradeep Kumar Joshi sir, the Honorable Chancellor of Pragjyotishpur University, Guwahati, has been in the field of education for more than 28 years. He has also held the position of the chairman of UPSC in 2020. Prior to which, he served as the chairman, Chhattisgarh Public Service Commission and Madhya Pradesh Public Service Commission. Presently, he has been serving as the chairman of National Testing Agency and as the chancellor of Central Agricultural University, Imphal, Manipur for a period of 5 years. May I now humbly request Professor Pradeep Kumar Joshi Mohoday, the Honorable Chancellor, Pragjyotishpur University, to kindly deliver the introductory speech.
Respected Dr. Sridhar Panikar Somnath ji, the real hero of crores of young hearts and our country. Professor Smriti Kumar Sinha, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Pragjyotishpur University, Professor Parimal Bhattacharya ji, President Organizing Committee, Professor Nani Gopal Mohanta, Honorable Education Advisor, Government of Assam, and Professor Jogesh Kakati, Registrar of Pragjyotishpur University. Honorable Vice Chancellors of various universities, distinguished guests, brothers, sisters, and my dear young students. With immense pleasure and pride, I welcome and congratulate Dr. Sridhar Somnath, Chairman ISRO, ISRO, on his remarkable leadership and resounding success of the Chandrayaan-3 mission, propelling India's achievement in lunar exploration. We are fortunate enough to have him with us today. In the spirit of Indian mythology, where cosmic pursuits are celebrated, your endeavors echo the progressive nature of our ancient knowledge. As in Hanuman Chalisa, more than 500 years ago, it has been written that Jug Sahasra Jojan Par Bhanu Lilyo Tahi Madhur Fal Janu. 500 years back, it was written in the Hanuman Chalisa that at that time he had measured the distance of earth to sun. This distance of earth and sun was even known in Dharma Shastra centuries before. This is proved, and we are proceeding towards the sun mission under the leadership of Dr. Sridhar Somnath. Now, you see, why this Prague Jyotishpur University? This Union Public Service Commission, earlier it was Imperial Public Service Commission in India, it was established in 1925. But prior to that, to administer the services of our country, this service commission was formed in 1855 in England. And during that period, the professionals used to go there for training. और उस समय इनकी ट्रेनिंग में जो डिफरेंट स्कॉलर्स एंड philosophers, those who used to come for their training, so one of them was Max Muller. So many of us, they know Max Muller. So Max Muller in 1865 speaks before the civil services trainees. He never think like this, that we are going to India to administer the uncivilized people of India. हम वहां पर अनसिविलाइज्ड लोगों को एडमिनिस्टर करने के लिए नहीं जा रहे हैं, जो कि सांपों को नचाने का या बंदरों को नचाने का काम करते हैं. हम ऐसी कंट्री के अंदर सिविल सर्विस ऑफिसर होने के बाद हम वहां उनको एडमिनिस्टर करने के लिए नहीं जा रहे हैं. इंडिया इज ए ग्रेट कंट्री. मैक्स मूलर ने भारतीय वेदों के बारे में काफी अध्ययन किया था. ही वॉज ए ग्रेट स्कॉलर. इंडियन माइथोलॉजी के ऊपर काफी कुछ उन्होंने लिखा है, इंडोलॉजी के ऊपर उन्होंने काफी कुछ लिखा है, बट ही नेवर विजिटेड इंडिया. लेकिन एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर्स को वो कहते थे कि केवल इतना मत समझो, भारत में जाने के बाद में तुमने वहां की कल्चर को समझना है, वहां के वेदों में क्या है उसको समझना है. ओनली देन यू विल बी इनलाइटेंड. तभी तुम वहां पर कुछ कर सकोगे. और इन सब बातों पर विचार करते हुए ही हमें आवश्यकता प्रतीत हुई कि भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा को ध्यान में रखते हुए और प्राग ज्योतिषपुर जैसा एक विश्वविद्यालय स्थापित किया जाए. एंड आफ्टर थिंकिंग दैट द प्राग ज्योतिषपुर यूनिवर्सिटी वाज एस्टैब्लिश्ड बाय शंकर देव एजुकेशन एंड रिसर्च फाउंडेशन SERF on 17th October 2022 and came into being through the Prague Jyotishpur University Act 2022 and is recognized by the UGC also. What is this Prague Jyotishpur? What is the concept of this Prague Jyotishpur? The Prague Jyotishpur is a place of ancient India that signifies connectively the rays of primordial light and geographical area that remained associated with several anecdotes and belonging even the Ramayana and Mahabharata. Prague Jyotishpur University, being established in the place of this enlightening wisdom, is viewed to enshrine to be the center of high-class education and research activity, vouching for attending all types of cross-cutting arenas by overcutting barriers of limitations. Each and every corner of this university will enchant with the rhythm of the true essence of knowledge, prajna, and satya, and three principles explicitly incorporated in the mandate of the NEP 2020. Pragjyotispur University is being established to create global knowledge leaders for the holistic development of the humanity. Mission: the Pragjyotispur University will develop individuals with the capabilities to be true world leaders through advanced scholarship, research and innovation, facilitating a transdisciplinary approach to provide solutions for achieving sustainable goals of advancement. This university envisions building a state-of-art knowledge repository and creating a digital infrastructure for expanding the horizon thought among all the stakeholders by generating an innovative and creative educational ecosystem to foster the engagements with business, government, and communities for an overall constructive development. And the values, our values are creativity, self-awareness, social responsibility, team spirit, humanity, entrepreneurship, and inclusiveness. Without taking further time, because we all are here to hear and wish to listen, Dr. Sridhar Somnath ji, the real hero. So, after speaking on these points, I will like to take my seat. Thank you very much.
Dhanabad Mahoday. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Noni Gopal Mahanta, the Honorable Education Advisor to the Government of Assam, was the head of the Department of Political Science and Director, Global Studies Center, Gauhati University. He was a Rotary World Fellow, Peace Fellow in the University of California, Berkeley from 2002 to 2004. He was also been a visiting fellow to the International Peace Research Institute, Norway, Oslo. May I now humbly request Professor Noni Gopal Mahanta, Honorable Education Advisor to the Government of Assam, to kindly deliver his speech.
Namaskar. Honorable Dr. Sridhar Panikar Somnathji, Professor Pradeep Kumar Joshi Dangori, Honorable Chancellor Pragjyotispur University, Professor Smriti Kumar Sinha, Honorable Vice Chancellor Pragjyotispur University. We have with us Professor Parimal Chandra Bhattacharya, President, Organizing Committee, Honorable Professor Yogesh Kakoti, Registrar, Pragjyotispur University, Honorable Vice Chancellors, esteemed colleagues, dear student friends, and Gunagya Hujan. At the very outset, on behalf of Government of Assam and on behalf of people of Assam, I have the privilege, I have the honor to welcome you, sir, Professor Dr. Sridhar Panikar Somnathji, to the state of Assam. It's a great honor that you have visited this state of Assam, and I take this privilege and honor to congratulate you for your remarkable success that you have put India, that is Bharat, into the elite club of space exploration. Well, it is also a great privilege and honor to inform our august gathering that at the initiative of Honorable Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma and with the collaboration with ISRO, that there is going to be another sub-center of ISRO in Guwahati, which is going to be functional soon at the initiative of ISRO, for which we remain beholden to you, sir. Well, today is the day of Hilpi Diboch of Jyoti Prasad Agarola that we commemorate. Now I see a corollary between Jyoti Prasad Agarola and the great scientist Sridhar Panikar Somnathji. What is that corollary? The corollary is Jyoti Prasad Agarola, way back in 1935, he gave us the first film called Jaymati, which is one of the few first films of India. So it was a great technological advancement for the state of Assam when nobody could dare to go for a film. That was a great technological achievement at that point of time. So likewise, He likewise he was not only a technological person, but Jyoti Prasad Agarwala was also a man of art, man of culture, man of spirituality. Jyoti Prasad Agarwala said, Bharat Barha, Dekhi Huni Jage Mur, Bihadatu Harha. প্রকৃতির অভিনয় মানবী পুতলা আহিল উঠি গল পাতি পাতি বিচিত্র মেলা হাঁহি আৰু কান্দোনৰ নৱ নৱ খেলা. That means ভাৰতবৰ্ষ, even in the midst of melancholy, when I utter the word of called Bharat, I get galvanized, I get spirited by the word of Bharat, and that was Jyoti Prasad Agarwala. Jyoti Prasad Agarwala, as has been enunciated by our Honorable Vice Chancellor, he talked about transformative knowledge. Rupantararmoy, Zugantararmoy, Bharatar Bishwar. So he talked about transformative knowledge. And he was also a great bhakta of Indian Krishna culture. He was a great appreciation, he had great appreciation of Krishna Sanskriti. Likewise, today we have the great scientist Sridhar Somnath Dangoria, and he's also a great connoisseur not only of Indian space and technology. He is not only a scientist, but also he is a spiritualist, if I remember correctly. In fact, all great scientists do have some amount of understanding or quest or some kind of indomitable spirit for, it's a urge to understand the unknown. In fact, recently I had seen one video documentary, it's called James Webb Telescope. What is this James Webb Telescope? It was an attempt by NASA to understand the 6.3 billion years ahead after the Big Bang, what were the galaxies before the humanity, 6.3 billion years of ahead. Now, this James Webb technology had given us the photograph of those galaxies, and it was a journey towards infinity. It was a journey towards infinite world. What our Shankaradev said, Ananta Koti Brahmandar Hari Adhikari. Likewise, our Dr. Sridhar Somnathji also has a quest to understand this infinity. In fact, many of the so-called, critics have criticized that how can a scientist be a spiritualist? But that is not the correct answer. But the main issue is that the main understanding of science is not the only you are a scientist or not. It is also about methodology. It is also about approach. It is the inquisitiveness. It is the explorative study that makes you scientific. And that's what the main exploration of Dr. Sridhar Panikkar Somnath Dangoria. With these words, I welcome you, sir. I believe your interaction with our students will be immensely empowering and beneficial for the students. With these words, I once again welcome you, sir. Dhanyavad.
আপোনাৰ বহুমূলীয়া বক্তব্যৰ বাবে আপোনালৈ ধন্যবাদ জ্ঞাপন কৰিলোঁ মহোদয়. Ladies and gentlemen, Chandrayaan-3 mission was indeed awe-inspiring. Often what we usually witness, we are just the final moments of triumph and success. But what goes behind it is relentless efforts for years, perseverance, and unwavering dedication. We now present an audio-visual on the launching and landing of Chandrayaan-3. এই ভিডিঅ'টিৰ পাছত উপস্থিত ছাত্ৰ ছাত্ৰীসকলক থিয় হৈ হাতত ফ্লায়াৰ্ছ লৈ মাননীয় অধ্যক্ষ মহোদয় আৰু ইছৰোক সম্বোধন কৰিবলৈ মই অনুৰোধ জনাইছোঁ. We now present an audio-visual.
New emerging technologies are opening up opportunities for space exploration and research. As humanity continues to push the boundaries of science and technology to progress into the future, scientists around the world are utilizing satellites, space missions, and ground-based observations to study these changes. India has had a rich tradition of scientific inquiry and a wealth of scientific achievements going back to our ancient sages. And today the people of India are striving to build a better future for themselves, placing their hopes in the power of technology to improve the lives of our future generations. India's journey into outer space is a remarkable saga that began with the setting up of the Indian National Committee for Space Research, INCOSPAR, in 1962 under the chairmanship of the visionary scientist Dr. Vikram Sarabhai. INCOSPAR made the first forays into upper atmospheric research, launching a series of sounding rockets into space. In 1969, with the objective of harnessing space technology, Indian Space Research Organization ISRO was set up to supersede INCOSPAR. And today, as part of its vision to harness, sustain and augment space technology for building a stronger and more developed India, ISRO is providing the nation's space infrastructure from the early days when parts of satellites and rockets were transported on bullocks and bicycles to India becoming the first country to reach Mars on the very first attempt. ISRO has put India on the global map of space technology. Till date, ISRO has successfully accomplished 123 spacecraft missions, 95 launch missions, and launched 432 foreign satellites, and much more. ISRO scripted a new chapter in the history of space exploration in 2017 with a successful launch of a record 104 satellites by the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle PSLV on a single mission. ISRO made history yet again when the Vikram lander from ISRO's Chandrayaan-3 successfully landed in the moon's South Pole region, making India the first country in the world to accomplish a South Pole lunar landing.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Here we have a majestic liftoff of LBM-3 M4 rocket carrying India's prestigious Chandrayaan-3 spacecraft.
Pragjyotishpur University feels proud and honored to welcome and felicitate Shri S. Somnath, Chairman, Indian Space Research Organization. We congratulate him and his team of dedicated scientists and engineers at ISRO and wish them the very best in all their future missions and programs. Our students are really looking forward to interacting with Shri Somnath and drawing inspiration from his work to excel in their future endeavors and serve the country and its people. Thank you.
Can we once again have a big round of applause for Sir? Ladies and gentlemen, can we continue with our thunderous round of applause? And may I take the honor of once again requesting Dr. Sridhar Panikkar Somnath Mohoday, the Honorable Chairman ISRO, to kindly address the august gathering.
Good afternoon, all of you. I'm really honored to be here with you, especially in the august presence of your Chancellor, the Vice Chancellor, also the advisor to Government of Assam, to the Chief Minister, and many other luminaries, including the Organizing Committee Chair, Professor Parimal Chandra, and all those distinguished invitees who are here, teachers, and most importantly, the students. In fact, my heart swells when I see you young faces. And what a glorious future that is awaiting for all of us when you people are there, energized, enthused to take on the next generation task of building this nation. Congratulations for you to be here today. And of course, the name of this university, Pragjyotishpur, resonate with the heart of you people, having a historical significance of this name connected with building of this nation many years back, maybe 500s of years back. And I would like to start from there. I would like to start from there, speaking about the glory of this nation. This glory of this nation is just not created today. It was existing for many, many long years, ever since civilization started developing. It started developing in this part of this world. If you really are a student of history, you will understand that little deeper. Thousands of years when human beings started settling here, created those knowledges, understanding of the nature, the inquisitive nature of the human beings to understand the truth of the universe, the philosophical thoughts that existed at that point in time, the technological feats that they have achieved in comparison with what others did in the rest of the part of the world were monumental. They were monumental. They were significant enough to say today, yes, we were one of those many cultures of technologies that existed at the highest level of knowledge level at that point in time. I'm not going to explain all of those accomplishments of those generations because it's all there in the history. Only thing you need to read between lines sometimes to understand what is actually the reality and what is actually being talked to you, spoken to you, taught to you. I think these are very elements that you need to understand, and I believe some of you will really develop that interest and passion to understand what glorious nation this was once. And it's also important to understand the glory, but it's equally important to understand, to recreate it today, because the power is with you today. You cannot live on historical facts. You have to create it today. I think that is what we are for. In a generation, when you understand what we were yesterday, helps you to not to lose confidence. It helps you to create that willpower to build a new nation. And that will happen in the Amrit Kal. I would like to tell you, the vision is already there created. I would like to speak about that and also talk about science, technology, impact on society, and how my domain, the space technology, is going to really influence in terms of this particular aspect of it. Of course, they spoke about a little bit of spirituality. Of course, I would like to dwell upon that as well. So I believe that it's being an interaction. I don't want to give a big talk at this moment, early. Then we will speak to each other, your questions, answers. I think that will be more interesting. Is it not? You have a lot of questions with you? That's great, really great. But let me tell you in the beginning, we are in a situation today in this world where if you really look closely, the post-Second World War era, nations come up, no? Nations, nations are boundaries or geographical boundaries covered by some places, and these people are one nation, you call it. If you attack and capture another one, that becomes another nation. Nation is not a stagnant thing. Nation is nothing but a collection of people with a common vision. Nations come and go, nations develop, in India itself, in this subcontinent itself, hundreds of nations existed once. Today we are Bharat, the nation that we represent, with a common vision, common goal of accomplishing something for the people. Every nation come up with a power which is in their hand. And that dominance of the nation to dictate the history of the world at that point in time is coming out of one important capability that everybody has. I think this cannot be forgotten. It was once mighty power, the sword, power of the sword, power of the gun, power of the bullet, power of the gunpowder. Later it became the natural resources, the wealth that comes out of the petroleum or many other things, natural resources that helps you to build up the economy, and then it became powerful. Today, what is power? Can you tell me what is the real power? It is the knowledge. And if you have just not knowledge, you need to have something beyond that point. Anyway, we will explain that point about it. It's very important to have knowledge, society, which builds everything around the knowledge in terms of technology, in terms of applications, in terms of business, in terms of social life. If you are able to build everything around it, it's a very powerful thing. It's a very, very powerful thing. And nations started realizing it. Those nations which were dwelling on natural resources as a power, the economy, the petroleum as a power, the sword as a power, the gun as the power, I think they all realize that all of this ultimately boils down to that one element called the knowledge. And the ability to create not the past knowledge, the ability to create new knowledge. And if you are creating that in an ecosystem, in universities, educational institutions, in and around us, I think you are becoming more and more powerful. And what for you need all this power? Why nation need the power? Because it gives you, it's able to put the citizens at the best in their abilities, in developing the capability. It gives them a comfortable life, and it becomes an aspiring nation for everybody in this world who would like to come and stay. Will you not be happy that India becomes the nation where everybody in the world will like to come and live here? Is it not? It's the best country for anybody in the world to come and live. It doesn't mean that everybody is invited. It doesn't mean that. But it is the nation that everybody like to come and stay and live peacefully. And we become the guru of the nation. We give directions. We give the path. We give the vision for the whole of the world to take on in many, many domains. It could be sustainability. It could be living together. It could be in health care. It could be in longevity. It could be in education. It could be in many facets of human life. If you are able to do that, then you are a great nation. Great nations are built by such visions. And for that, I will tell you that it's very important you people contribute. In what way you can contribute? Each one of us can contribute. I believe one of the important points is your contribution to knowledge, in the ability to create new knowledges. I will tell you that today the world is going through a big technological transition. One example is about food. Let us look at the food alone. Today, are we seeing poverty to an extent that you saw in 1930s? Possibly none of you were there in 1930s. You don't even understand what exactly was that poverty. Today, we are able to produce food, not only in India, in the whole of the world, by technological interventions. It happened because not the land didn't increase. Actually, the agricultural land shrunk. The productivity improved. The seeds came in. The new methods of fertilization, the water, and various extra scientific interventions improved the yield of the product. And we are able to handle food production to substantially high level in terms of processing, delivery, and many other things which made the poverty a thing that can be handled if you really want to handle. Of course, there are poverty else here and there because many of the management of the food itself is a problem. You look at the disease, the longevity of the human beings. It actually increased substantially. When we got independence in India, it was just 35 years, or even less than that. That was an average lifespan of any Indian that used to live here. Today, it stands at 70 years. The medical knowledge in terms of healthcare, the disease prevention, the preparatoriness, I think it has improved substantially over the last so many years. Look at wars, where death of people happens. Earlier, there used to be invasions after invasions, and thousands of people die, countless people. No, we don't even have counts of those lakhs of people who died. Today also there are wars. The deaths are in hundreds, maybe in thousands. But it will never end because human being is like that they will not stop waging wars of various kinds. But it doesn't mean that the wars of the earlier era is vanishing. There are new wars are coming. Today's wars are in different regime, not killing people. In different other domains it happens. I mean, the technology has changed many of those major issues that you have seen today. Today we are talking about artificial intelligence. I think you know all of you are being watched. Are you aware that all of you are being watched? By the machines, the computers, the data, they analyze it and frame you, each one of your characteristics. I think analytics of this gives them an edge over marketing, business, delivery, and many other aspects of it. AI is around us. Every phone that you handle is actually learning you bit by bit. Every key that you do there, it actually gives a signature of you into the system. And they know you, who you are. What are your tastes? What is your likeness? What food you like? What dress you like? What type of gossip you do? Everything they know. Everything the computer knows. And you may not know. Your friends may not know. But the computer system knows you better than your friends. And it will also grow in the days to come. AI will start ruling many things here. Look at the electronics revolution and communication revolution that is happening. It's changing the world in such a manner that entertainment industry is getting totally different than that we used to see. If you want to learn some new subject, it's very easy today. It's only your passion, your interest. Every material that you can actually access is right there. If you want to learn, if you have time, if you have passion. Other day my daughter was learning painting. And I never knew that painting can also be taught online, that very beautifully teaches you how to take a canvas and how to do mixed paints, colors. It gives you tutorials. In 1 week you are a great painter. I didn't know that it is possible. Anything. You want to have a passion in music, instrument, it's there, online classes, courses. Language. Lakhs of languages became thousands of languages, and it's going to dwindle further. Which is a signature of your culture, because language is also under the control of computers now. Because language can be learned, it can be translated seamlessly from one to another. When I speak in English, each one of you really wish to hear in a home, you can actually hear if you have a device little later, but may not be up to now there. In whichever language you prefer, it can be real-time translated. You can speak back in any language you like. I will hear in English if you really want. What will happen? The impact of this is significant, because the language itself will have problem of creating new approaches and cultures which actually created languages in the earlier past will vanish. You will see a different approaches there. There will be no need of any learning new languages. But also there will be other domains that will appear slowly a little later. Look at medical care. Earlier, when you have a disease, you used to go to a doctor, an expert doctor with 30, 40 years of experience will diagnose you, touching here and there, and then tell you certain things. Today, medical care is based on evidence-based approaches. So you need to have proof why you are doing this medicine. It is not based on feel of the doctor and expertise of the doctor that you cannot deliver, you cannot prescribe a medicine. You need to have evidence. That means you need to show that he has such and such symptoms which has a potential to give into this disease. Hence, I am giving this medicine. How to do this? You need fast diagnosis. And the fast diagnosis requires very high technology today. You take a little bit of blood, it gives tracers on hundreds of diseases. And if you can make such it on a live basis, this data goes to computer systems of the world, and then it comes out with a diagnosis, comparing the similar data with lakhs of data sets that are there already in the computer system, and gives you a diagnosis not of an experience of one doctor. It contains the experience of hundreds and thousands of doctors and patients, and your diagnosis are far likely to be true than the diagnosis of one expert doctor. So look at the change which is going to happen for a doctor. He will be jobless sometimes. A machine connected to you will diagnose you and tell you the type of medication that you need to give much faster. Look at the life of a lawyer. If you want to file a case, you go to a lawyer and then tells him that I have such and such case, and he will make an affidavit to be filed. But today a computer can do it much better, because he has database of thousands of similar cases, and he can synthesize a affidavit in the language which is required for that particular court and the particular jurisdiction, particular approach of law internationally, and then make a draft. Of course, an expert lawyer can once again review it to see that everything is fine, but it can be done in a matter of minutes, where it used to take matters of hours, because he refers to so much of judgments and other data sets which are correlated, and then make a case for you to file an affidavit. The whole thing can be done in no time today with the computer system. So what will happen to a lawyer's job? I do not know. Now, you look at the chips that are there in your cars today. You know, every car is now equipped with 30, 40 chips. It is there in the wheels, it is there in the sensors, it is in the horn, in the audio system, your GPS, your speed sensors, petroleum injection, air pressure. Everything is measured by chipsets, distributed computational system. It gives you the operating computer to do the entire car driving. You cannot do anything with spanners today. You need a computer to understand what is wrong with a car if it stops in the midway of the road. That spanner technology is gone. Now computer is driving the car. After some time, driverless cars are going to be there. It's already there, but slowly it is going to be there amongst you, like your automotives. Look at space. The space age is slowly catching up. Earlier you used to go to moon. 1960s, when America sent, afterwards nobody sent people to moon, but there is a moon race happening now. America said that we are going to build a space station around moon. We are going to have continuous access to moon, human access, and the program, Artemis program, is already on. The missions are start going to happen. From there, people are going to travel to Mars. And Elon Musk says, I will transport lakhs of people to Mars, build colonies so that human beings can go and settle in Mars and create large colonies forever. And convert Mars to a habitable planet with hundreds of years of work, which is already there called terraforming. If you do that, oxygen will be generated, water will come, life will again start on Mars. All these are not fiction. I am not talking fiction. I am talking about realities, well-researched findings in books, literature. It's all there. I am not taking nothing new. I am speaking about what is there in front of you. Now, once all this happens, there is something else happens in the social sector. The whole world is now getting connected. It's no longer done by one nation. The whole of this activity happens as a global activity. The powers and forces that decides these things are not the national powers. They are the powers far beyond the boundaries of the nations. Now the nation's role will become very different. The power, what you talked about, the determination, deciding ability of human beings within a nation to decide your destiny, your future, all will depend on how you organize yourself among the technological revolution that is happening around us. This is called social sensitivity of each one of you. While you are a technologist, while you understand engineering, while you understand science, you should also understand how it is going to influence the decision-making, influential powers of a nation. It is very, very important to understand. Because the power that operate all of this are not one nation. It is a conglomerate of financial interest and various other forces which will come in amongst you. Why I am telling all of this to young people is to find interest in science, technology, and engineering, while we understand all other domains. The power that we want to live comfortably, safely, securely, healthy, satisfied individuals in this world is a function of how good you are educated in terms of the influence of this technology in your life and become an integral part of your life. It's also important to create jobs, business, and similar other activities in this area. Unless you create that interest, you cannot become an entrepreneur. You cannot create value out of what these businesses are. Why don't you be a part of the whole chain of this whole ecosystem that is going to develop in the world, especially in states like Assam? I believe that the universities like Prague School University will prepare you to do such things. I understand there is a very important coursework that is starting in science, engineering, science, possibly science area, technology area here, and I would like you to take interest in it while you are interested in other subjects. In fact, I know I am an engineer, but I have a great passion for history. I like many other topics of this nature because you need to understand the connect between many things. It's also important to understand, to be fascinated by science. See, Professor, you mentioned about the James Webb Telescope. I was very keen to look at it. You know what is James Webb Telescope? I think you would have read about it, right? Some of you would have read about it. It actually looks deeper into the universe. Can you see past? Can you see yesterday? Can you see how? You see through light. Okay, you understand a little bit. So light has a fantastic property that it actually comes to yesterday's light comes to your eyes, then you are able to see yesterday. Then you must be at least 1 day away. The speed of the light should be such a way that if you are 1 day away from the source of the light, then you are actually seeing yesterday, then it falls in your eyes. It's the same story like seeing in the past. Billions of years past what happened can actually be seen by you. Really you can see because the photons from that time is still traveling through the space, unobstructed. And if you can collect that photons, you can actually see the past. Past is also present. That is anyway another philosophy. Nothing is past, present, future, etc. don't exist. There is only one thing that exists, that is now. That's another story. But then it is true scientifically also. You are actually seeing past. We want to see closer and closer to the Big Bang point and then find out what actually happened at that point in time. This is precisely the one Webb telescope is doing by collecting very feeble signatures of the photons that emitted at that point, which is still traveling. And if you are able to build more powerful machines to collect light, which is already redshifted to other frequencies, not in the visible spectrum, you will be able to see that. And beautifully it has brought out the original universe that is getting created at that point. Still not the black hole. It's such a fascinating story, seeing history 13, 14 billion years back. I don't know how you are human being can even visualize this. Have you ever seen sky? I always ask these students this question. You see sky, night sky, stars, are they there? They are not there, When you look at them, they are blinking stars, none of them are there. Not a single one. Because they were all there years and years back. 1 year, 2 year, 10 year, 25 years, hundreds of years back. They were there. And that light is still coming. And that light is what you are seeing. None of them are there physically there. And they would have already gone far away. And it will continue to travel far away. So what you are actually seeing, the picture in the sky, is nothing but history, is it not? Okay, so you should better get interested in scientific history. So it's such a beautiful feeling. When you think about it, what you are seeing is a drama which is not a real thing. The whole of this universe, when you look at it physically, is not real. It's actually very surreal. You should feel goosebumps when you think about it, really, deeper. And it is very interesting to look at even materials. And when you look at materials, you will understand that the whole materials, so much of energy packed in each of these materials, the atoms, the electrons, the voids that is present here. I just give an example. You take a hydrogen atom. Hydrogen atom contains one proton, one electron. You studied in school, no? You take the proton is here, the electron is rotating around this proton. You expand it like this hole. It's very tiny, no? You make it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, assuming that it's made bigger and fit in this hole. The proton will still be at the center, you cannot still see it. It's still too small, even if it is expanded to the size, the proton is so small that you cannot see. And the electron is also still too small than proton, that also you cannot see. It is moving around that proton. And you look at the gap between the proton and electron, so huge, vast space between that proton and electron. And that hydrogen atom, you call it such a tiny thing, is full of space. There is no material, visible material in that hydrogen atom itself. Is not a beautiful thing to think about? The whole of this material that you see as physical, real object is full of gap, full of void. There is nothing inside. Can you think about that dream, that idea? The whole of this is created out of that concept of space. And that's why people like me are being, space people. The space is everywhere. Space is not within the material. The space is the whole of the universe. It's actually a representation of the cosmos, but you are actually seeing it. I can tell you that such thoughts inspires me to work in space, build rockets, travel to Moon and Mars, explore Sun and other objects, send human beings to space, because it is an inspirational work that we are doing. Human beings have this power to dream. He can build machines, he can travel and explore, try to understand the universe. But your ability to understand the universe is also going to be very limited. We all know that. Our ability to physically understand the universe is going to be extremely limited, because we are limited by the sensory perceptions that you have, the five senses that we have. And they are very limited capability. For example, your ability to see this room is limited by 3 dimensions. It has length, breadth, and height. Has it got one more dimension? You can't. Human being cannot visualize a dimension beyond these 3. Of course, we know there is one more dimension. What is the dimension? Time. Okay. So you know that that is understood by your learning process, not by physically feeling it. So your physical feel are limited only to 3 dimensions, and the 4th one is actually put into your mind by teachers. But the dimensions of the universe are not even 3; they are much more. The string theory says it's 11-dimensional space, and none of the human being can understand what is 11-dimensional space. You cannot even go to the 5th dimension. So you understand human beings are have a very limited capability. And this limited capability, you are trying to understand a very complex system like the universe. And you will never reach there to understand it fully, never ever. But drilling never ever is not correct still, because people have understood it. And this is understood by other levels of conscience. It's not by the physical way of it. That's why the other dimensions of understanding has to come to human beings. How to explore other options, to understand how all this have come out in a different dimension. Of course, I am not the one who understood all of that. I am only telling that there are people who explored it in their own way, came out with answers and to understand all of this. So it is equally important. While you look at science, you should also understand the limitations of what you are trying to find out and create the passion to understand in deeper sense that our nation is famed for such explorations, not now, thousands of years back. Rishis, they looked at it by manana, by thinking about it. They created some knowledges which still are very relevant. So I will only welcome you to read it, understand it. When you grow enough to understand those type of things, it will really enrich your life and make your life great. So let me stop at this moment, my speech part, and we'll get into some interactions. Okay? Thank you.
So we'll now have an open house interaction. We already have the cordless microphones there in the auditorium. আমাৰ ছাত্ৰ ছাত্ৰীসকলে যদি প্ৰশ্ন সুধিব বিচাৰে আপোনালোকে থিয় হৈ প্ৰশ্নটো সুধিব পাৰে।
Okay, start. Who is starting? Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, my question is, sir, how do you motivate yourself every day when you face certain disappointment, when you work on a certain project or something you are researching upon? Thank you, sir.
The first and foremost important feeling that you must have is called gratitude. Okay, once you have developed that skill to develop gratitude for what you are today, then there is no need of any motivation. Why I am telling it is, for example, look at it. You must have great gratitude to your parents because their work that made you that you are today. To your teachers who had confidence in you, that you are a good student, you will come up and you know what type of motivation I received from my teachers when I was a student. My institution is an inspiration all the way. When you are surrounded by such effort of thousands of people to make what you are today, how can you never be motivated? It is not you today. It is the result of thousands of people. Your parents, your teachers, your co-workers, your nation, your fellow beings, your loved ones, not so loving ones, all of them. All of them put together to make what you are today. I think there is no time for you to feel remorse or unhappy or anything. You may feel a little bit, but then the other power will always overtake you to do the purpose of what you are there. So once you understand that element of gratitude, many times people forget about gratitude. You think that you are the one who made everything. It is the people around you who made you what you are. Look at all the time who made you what you are. You will understand you are a child at this moment, but then you will, over the time you will travel, you will understand the influence of people on you. And they are the one who helped you to reach whatever you are. And once that is understood, I think you will never get demotivated by any adverse conditions.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Can we move ahead to our next question?
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, to your left.
Good evening, sir. I hope you are doing well. Sir, my question is that what new information can we get from this Chandrayaan-3 mission that we actually didn't know before?
Okay, it's a very important question. See, you know, Chandrayaan-1 we launched in 2008. You are aware of it, no? And what came out of Chandrayaan-1? The most important finding?
Sir, according to me or as per my study, we got to know that in the surface of the moon, we can get water.
Fine. I think that is the most important finding.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so, but that finding did not come immediately after the launch. And it was not a part of the objective also. There was some instrument to measure hydroxyl elements at that point. There were two instruments, one from the US, one from India. And in fact, the original identification of the water was found by Indian instrument. But my scientists in India never believed there is water. They looked at it, there is signature. They were worried whether this is water or something else. They kept there secretly. They didn't publish it. Now the American scientists used their instrument and then they published it. Now our people are confident. They said, okay, I also found. So it became the second finding. See, many of the scientific findings in such missions come out little later. What exactly are the real repercussions of those signatures that you are seeing? This comes out of the correlations. You know, you don't have absolute measurements. You are doing spectral measurements. You are trying to relate to something else, etc. So this data has to be analyzed, tested against verifiable samples outside to prove that when somebody reviews this result, there are no contradictions. So this process will continue for some time, like peer review, peer analysis, etc. And once you find something very significant enough that ought to be published, it will be published. So typically that water finding took almost a year to find out. After the Chandrayaan-1 launch, almost 1 year later only the publication came. So we are just a few months after launch. The data is still not reached all the scientists yet, Chandrayaan-3, it is under validation. My thinking is that it is following things are likely to happen. Not really. See, there are fundamental questions about moon. And all questions cannot be answered by one Chandrayaan-3 mission. There are many missions to follow. But at least we must decide on the origin of moon. Origin of the moon, whether it is actually came from Earth as a asteroid hit and separated out, whether the mineral classification really substantiate that it is actually originated from Earth or not. This is one question. Second is there are other behaviors like the presence of water, the absence of atmosphere. Why cannot be an atmosphere still not be present? The gravity is enough to keep it some way, but it's not there. The non-uniformity of the gravity field of Earth is again another funny thing, because some areas are very dense, some areas not very dense. Why it happened? The tectonic activities that are happening in moon, the reason and significance of it. We talk about helium-3. There is not much evidence still. So there are many questions of this nature which we are trying to find out. I believe those answers will come with the payloads that we have here. Many of the 5 of the payloads are specifically addressing these questions. Okay? I will limit that only, so we'll wait for some more findings to come.
Thank you. We have another question, sir, to your right.
Yes. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
My question goes like this. Earlier, ISRO Chandrayaan-2 get failure. If someone face any problems, what piece of advice will you give to them?
I understand that the failure is due to some person. I didn't get that.
Earlier, ISRO failed in Chandrayaan-2 mission. If someone face any failures, what piece of advice would you give to them?
Okay, for other failures in their life. Okay. See, I failed in examinations. While I was writing university examination, I don't know why I failed, but I failed. My result showed it failed. What will you do then? You will go and tell your parents I failed. They will immediately shout at you, oh, you failed. Oh, you should have got the first rank, you should have succeeded. You go for a competition, a quiz competition, you come back without any prize. Again, your peers, your colleagues, friends, they say, oh, you missed this time. You work for an art competition. You face this problem. If you don't get your marks, your grades, your top positions, people around you could be unhappy. Correct? In life it happens. So, I have only one way to answer this. In your age, in your time, etc., it is very difficult to understand. But then, people will definitely criticize. And I have seen people who lost every interest because of this criticism. If I tell you something, then possibly you will not be able to handle it. So actually, I should speak to the parents, teachers, etc., not you, on supporting people who have a passion, even if they are failing. People do fail. And there is no shortcut to go through failures to reach success. Nobody has succeeded in life just first time. There are cases where people have succeeded in first time. It is to understand that failure is an essential element of human travel, life. You will face in some areas you may not fail, but many areas you are likely to fail. Examination is only one aspect of, because you are looking at success, failure in a measurable quantity. There are non-measurable failures and non-measurable successes. That is of different class. But then ultimately you must say that you should not be critical of failures. Failure should be used for introspection. You allow children, parents should allow children to introspect. Ask them what actually went wrong. What if you did, it could have been better. If you engage in a discussion of this nature, the positive impact is very, very high. Actually, success, failures don't determine a person's future. An event like a success or a failure. But it gives you a moral booster for you to achieve things. Of course, it has a merit being successful, but it's not a point that you should do criticism. Why I am saying all of this, I failed many times in my organization. Many of those stories are nobody knows. Where all I made mistakes, where all I failed, nobody knows. Only my boss knows. Because he contained with himself. I'll give you one story. Possibly, we may not understand that this was one assembly of a satellite was going on one fine evening. It was late night, around 10 o'clock. I was assembling the satellite called Kalpana. It is called METSAT. Later it was renamed as Kalpana satellite. Maybe you can search and find out. That satellite was going to be integrated with the PSLV. I was in charge of assembly of the satellite. I was assembling the satellite, and when it was almost getting assembled, I heard a small, tiny click sound. I felt something has gone wrong inside. It would have broken. Then I said it must be dismantled. Of course, I could have simply assembled it. It got almost assembled. If I left it, the mission would have failed. I realized after opening and seeing it, the engine of the satellite has hit the stage and something is broken in the stage, the rocket. I took it out. I kept it there. Then launch, which is supposed to happen 2 days later, 2 or 3 days later, is now postponed of my action. We'll have to go back and see, because I am responsible for the assembly. I should have checked everything. It should not have hit. There should have been some reason for hitting. It could be my reason or something else. But then I was confident enough that I must remove it and take it out and then see nothing has happened. Then after this event, then there was a big meeting. Chairman of ISRO at that time, Mr. Dr. Kasturirangan, came. I was a young engineer. My boss, Mr. Ramakrishnan, told, you make a presentation on what would have went wrong and how you can handle this issue. I made a PowerPoint presentation immediately on how this has happened. Then he went through it and told me that you don't present. I am going to present, my boss said. Then in the meeting, chairman was asking me who was there at that time doing this assembly. I stood up. Many people before the meeting told me, you are going to get big firing today from Chairman ISR. He did not fire me. I only stood up there. I said I was in charge of it. And the presentation was done by my boss, not by me. You understand the difference? And after that, whole point was over. Action was given to how to understand this problem of hitting, what impact it would have created, what corrections that you can do, how to bring back the launch again in another 2 days. And I was put on charge of it. In the next 48 hours, I did not sleep. I did work on that to make sure that impact is rectified, the modifications are done on the stage, the whole assembly is brought back. And after 48 hours, I was again standing there assembling the same satellite on the same rocket. The management of the organization allowed me, no, you have already hit, you have damaged it, now somebody else assemble. No. They said, you assemble. You understand that impact of it on you? This is called the building the confidence on people who actually made a mistake. And I realized what went wrong. The went wrong was due to certain measurement error in the heights of many things. My subordinates did the calculation and he actually went wrong and he reported me this number. I said that there is already number. In fact, physically I checked. I felt it is correct. I also went wrong. So chain of events led to the mistake. But the whole organization did not penalize me for that error of causing that damage, causing that mistake, because they realized if I had gone without that launch, this would never have come out. the mission would have failed and you will be searching what went wrong. So this is called the power of mentorship, power of owning collective responsibility of mistakes. And this is what makes Work ISRO great. One individual can always make a mistake, but then collectively we take the responsibility to make it correct, build the confidence in people and put them on a higher pedestal. This you must do in society, in place, schools and colleges, everywhere we should do.
Thank you, sir. Can we have our next question?
Yeah.
Namaskar. Good evening, sir. Myself Anmisha. And since we know that launching of rocket is the cause of depletion of ozone layer. And
Ocean?
Ozone layer.
Also, oh, okay.
So my question is that, is there any solution by which we can launch a rocket as well as we save the ozone layer?
Okay. See, ozone layer is not a small layer, it's a pan-global layer. So it's there existing everywhere. It also dynamically changes with time. Sometimes holes appear, sometimes it goes due to various interactions that happen in the atmosphere. It's not a static thing. And it is also damaged due to the CFCs and many other things which are being emitted, correct? That's what you mentioned, no? Yeah, so there are, one way to handle it is by looking at the control of this, which is already in place now. So there are some timelines for control of the chlorofluorocarbons and various other items that actually causes damage to ozone layers. And ozone creation itself is being now observed from space now, because there are multiple ways by which ozone is actually produced. The biological actions which are taking, the cosmological actions which actually generates ozones, both are of different types. Ozones which comes out of the biological actions are actually poison. Ozone is not always good, you know. Ozone comes out of even biological actions which is actually causing so much of respiratory and other related problems of human beings. But then there are other ozones which are generated in the upper atmosphere, which is helping you to create the ozone layers, which protects the radiation, other impacts. So this is one side. Space, I believe rockets have no very little to do with the repair of ozone layers, but it can only help in launching satellites to observe this, to warn people which are the primary sources of CFC's emissions. For example, chemical plants sometimes eject this very large quantity unknowingly. So we have observational platforms across the globe with sensors looking at it, and then warn people, yes, there are some emissions of high level happening by human activity. But there are activities which actually generate these type of things, not by human, by natural activity. So both are observed through satellites and give warning, quantification, and impact assessment. These type of things, space technology can really help. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Can we take a few more questions, sir? আৰু কোনোবাই যদি প্ৰশ্ন সুধিব বিচাৰিছে? So can we take 2 more questions?
I am at your service, whatever time.
Namaskar, sir. I am from Physics Department, Bivora College. Sir, I had a question. So in subjects like astrophysics or even basics physics, the general public feels, who are not in pursuit of this subject, they feel a deep passion about these subjects, but also somewhere they also feel intimidating feel about these subjects. As you can see, people, the general public, I'm not talking about the people, the profession or the students, the general public, they share their thoughts, their innovative ideas in other fields. For example, politics, economics, sociology. They share their subjects, they share their opinions, they share their innovative ideas. But somewhere, these subjects are much more complicated, I feel like, sir, than our general physics. But they still feel intimidation in studying these subjects. Like, if I bring my mom here and show you this is the space person of India, she will feel very overwhelmed. But she will never for once think about persuading herself persuading these subjects. So as a flagship of science of this country, sir, the ISRO, is there something we can do about it, sir?
See, there were great people who were great communicators. Professor talked about Professor Yashpal, Jayan Narlika. Have you heard their TV shows, their interactions, your expositions of science? heard anything Richard Attenborough's TV serials on science? See, the way science is put in front of people is that matters. Why do you like music? Do you like music? Because it is music to your ears, it gives you joy. If science is capable of building joy in you, then there will be plenty of people. It's a question of putting it in front of them on many aspects of it, science. One is utility aspect, the mathematical aspect alone you are interested. That's why people get bored. If you simply learn something for just utility, it will never be interesting to anybody. It has to create intelligential inquiry processes. It should generate aesthetics within the mind of the people. It should also create joy of involvement. If you can connect people with these type of elements in communication, then it actually creates interest in people to discuss it. Did you listen to my hydrogen atom, that aspect of it, no? Think about things like that you can bring in beauty in everything. For science, space, I talked about seeing the past. No, it actually for a normal person who thinks past cannot be seen, you say through science, I can see past. It itself is a very, subject which actually gives them such a new vision to the whole thing. It is applicable in every domain of science, life. For example, I talk about nervous system functioning, how nerves function, the chemical communicators that work in our body, how disease, actually causes, like this. The photosynthesis. If you talk about photosynthesis, such a beautiful thing about the cyanobacteria that came and how it actually got into animals and plants, and how animals became not photosynthesis capable, while plants became photosynthesis capable. How that still work within our human body and trees. The cyanobacteria still present in some form in every plant that actually converts sun energy to the chemical energy that we have, how energy getting released, how people grow and die. Beautiful thing, no? The science is actually very artistically beautiful, music really. It's a question of some people who have the ability to understand and bring some nice elements of it and put in very simple terms to people. It must be done. And you should create some people in this state with that language capability, that type of communication capability, pick them, train them, and then put them in schools and colleges and talk to people. It's very important idea, because you should speak in the language of the people. And if you can do that, it really give you magic. I think many young people who gets into science is because of such inspirational story that they hear in their lifetime once or twice. They really get fascinated. I'll tell you one story. Possibly many of the students may not understand because they are maybe in schools or sometimes in early colleges. When I was a student, I went to Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, for my master's program. That day, that college, I was studying a subject called dynamics subject. Okay, let it be. But then there was one equation, mathematical equation. It's a big equation. That equation is called Lagrange's theorem. I don't know, some Lagrange in Europe found out this theorem. So it says, this theorem if you use, I can convert energy to vector space. Energy is called scalar. You know scalar? Scalar has a quantity, it has no direction. You know science? Science people know. Vector is as in quantity and a direction. So when you are converting something called scalar, a scalar cannot produce a vector. This is a fundamental. A vector can produce a scalar. So this equation converts energy to space. Energy to space. You understand the importance of this? Energy is an abstract quantity who exists not in physical realm, it exists in non-physical realm. And space is something that exists in physical realm in dimensions. And a simple mathematical equation, dou by dou x, so dou by dou ti dot minus d by dx. So there is some equation like that. If you use that equation, I can convert energy to vectorial space. This is one understanding of it. But the whole beauty of it is this equation can be used for anything, solving any problem. Like how if I take this, if I push it, it goes and stays here. How? I can solve that equation. I can solve how a wave bends and falls down. How it is this shape of the wave? Why it is not any other shape? When I swing a pendulum, why it moves like this? When I heat something, the temperature rises. How it temperature rises? How much temperature will rise? If moon is moving around Earth, I can explain using the same equation. When I launch a rocket, it will go in that orbit or not. I can solve using the same equation. What a phenomenal equation it is. I studied this equation one night, one evening I heard in the class, night I went to room, looked at this equation and actually started crying. You will cry if you understand the significance of that equation and its impact on the transformation of these two ideas called energy, which is an abstract quantity, non-physical. Okay, it's physical in some way, but then vector, a space, everything which is not existing, shunya, converting to become the abstract physical. You look at the spiritual connect between these two. A mathematical equation describing the connectivity between the absolute and the real. It's not very, keeping you a feeling of high knowledge. These are the true knowledges. Tell people like this. It will make them change their track and life sometimes.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions? We have many more, sir. So, shall we take two more?
You'll ask them.
We'll have last two questions. Due to time constraint, I'd request you to kindly keep your question a bit short and direct.
Sir, till today what you have done with a team spirit. Sir, till today what you have done with a team spirit. So would you like to speak a few words on your team lead experiences?
See, when I joined ISRO, I was very fortunate to be in a team which was mentored by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Abdul Kalam was the SLV project director. He just finished that SLV project. He was just leaving to DRDO at that point. And all those people who were part of the SLV project, where project was dismantled, they were building PSLV. So the PSLV team was formed, Dr. Srinivasan, Dr. Madhavan Nair, and many others who were his deputies came to this project. And I joined the same project. And they were my bosses. You can understand the influence. Each of them were very accomplished people, but they were mentored by Kalam. I can see Kalam in them, because whatever I read about Kalam later, I could understand they were each one of them of that type of people, motivated, very capable in terms of subject knowledge, how to handle big teams, how to delegate responsibility, put people at a higher level. So I enjoyed that company of those great people. So naturally, the capability of ours also developed in that similar lines. So very early time itself, it is understood that this work which we are doing is not a simple work. It is a very multi-dimensional work which requires understanding of so many people. And if one person can never do, 100 people cannot do, 1,000 people are required to do. So that aspect came out of such exposure. So I will only say that much, because the team is well talked about in various ways. Sadish Dhawan spoke about it, Sarabhai, Kalam would have spoken about it in many, many ways. But I can say you that the culture is still remaining in the organization in terms of building teams, multidisciplinary team to understand and respect each other. I think this is already there.
যিহেতু সময় আমাৰ হাতত বহুত কম আছে,
I'm really sorry. Okay. Yeah, I think we'll stop. I'll give you my email ID. So, not an official email ID, personal email ID, so I can reply whenever I am traveling. Okay? So it is sssnath, @gmail.com. Okay?
So, or else we can also ask the students to email their queries to our university.
Whichever way, you can send it to your university
also?
compile and send.
Yes, sir.
No problem. But don't flood my email book. Only very good questions you think it is very relevant, ask. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir, for inspiring us with your words. It was truly inspiring. Your work, your word is truly inspiring. I'd request everyone to kindly rise and give a thunderous round of applause for our chief guest, Dr. S. Somnath Mohodoy, for inspiring us and for giving us so much time. Thank you everyone. I request you to kindly take your seat. And now I would request Professor Jugesh Kakoti, the Professor Registrar, Pragjyotishpur University, to kindly deliver the vote of thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Firstly, I would like to extend our sincere gratitude to Dr. Sridhar Panikkar Somnath sir, Honorable Chairman ISRO. Sir, you have joined us today despite your busy schedule for sharing your invaluable insights, particularly with the students. And I think the students are highly benefited and they are very much anxious to ask questions, but time is a big constraint. And you can ask your questions through our email and we will communicate with Dr. Somnath ji. And again, we will communicate with you personally. Sir, your work has not only advanced our understanding of space exploration, but has also opened up new avenues for exploration and discovery. In the presence of a galaxy of academicians and leading personalities of society, you have shared your ideas and thereby inspired each and everybody, particularly the aspiring student community, who are always in the quest for understanding the mysteries that surround us. Sir, we all the Bharatiyas will always remain thankful to you for your groundbreaking contributions to space research. I feel happy to express our deepest appreciation to Professor Noni Gopal Mohanto, Honorable Education Advisor, Government of Assam, who has joined us today representing the Government of Assam with the sense of honor of recognizing the luminary in the field of science. We are thankful to all the academicians and esteemed guests, the Honorable ISRO officials who have graced the occasion with their presence. Your attendance has added immense value to the significance of today's event. Special thanks are due to the organizing committee headed by Professor Parimal Chandra Bhattacharya and Dr. Homeshwar Kolita, Dr. Satyajit Kolita, along with a number of esteemed principals and professors of the colleges like Dr. Vedabrat Soikia, Dr. Manoj Das, and professors of universities and Greater Guwahati. And all the Pradhan Acharyas and Acharyas of Shankardev Shishu Niketans of Guwahati Sankul, the Shankardev Kalakshetra Authority, both print and electronic media houses, Honorable Chancellor of Pragjyotishpur University, along with all the respected members of the governing body and the faculties and all other employees of Pragjyotishpur University, all the respected members of Shankardev Education and Research Foundation, the sponsoring body of Pragjyotishpur University. Special thanks to all the students who have joined here from different places, even some of them from more than 100 kilometers, and have experienced the ideas shared by their icon of inspiration, Dr. S. Somnath ji. All your efforts have ensured the seamless execution of this gathering. Everything becomes successful based on play, plan, do, check, act. It is a cycle that is called PDCA cycle. Here special thanks to Mananiya Shri K.N. Raghunandan ji, Honorable Rashtriya Sangathan Mantri Vidya Bharati Ussa Shiksha Sansthan, Mananiya Shri Pasishta Bujarburo, and Mananiya Dr. Pawan Tiwari ji for planning, doing, checking, and acting to make this event possible. Professor Pradeep Kumar Joshi ji, Honorable Chancellor, and Professor Smriti Kumar Sinha, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Pragjyotishpur University, Professor Parimal Chandra Bhattacharya, Honorable President Organizing Committee of this event, all we are the active family members of the Pragjyotishpur University family. On behalf of us, I once again thank you to everyone for gracing this occasion with your esteemed presence. Thank you.
পৰম শ্ৰদ্ধাসুধীবৃন্দ, আমাৰ অনুষ্ঠানৰ শেষ পৰ্যায়ত আহি আমি উপনীত হৈছোহি। পুনৰবাৰ উপস্থিত সভাকে ধন্যবাদ জ্ঞাপন কৰি ৰাষ্ট্ৰীয় সংগীতেৰে আমি অনুষ্ঠান সামৰিবলৈ লৈছো। All present kindly rise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
ধন্যবাদ, নমস্কাৰ। লাইট ৰিফ্ৰেছমেণ্টৰ ব্যৱস্থা কৰা হৈছে। সকলোকে প্ৰেক্ষাগৃহৰ বাহিৰত এই ৰিফ্ৰেছমেণ্টসমূহ ল'বলৈ আমি অনুৰোধ জনালোঁ।